All right, welcome to another episode of Political Gurus, where we focus on American politics. I'm here representing the MAGA Nation. My friend Kunle Williams, who's in, where are you, Qatar?
I'm in Qatar representing the Global South.
Yeah, the Global South. Anyway, so let's get started. Nice sunglasses, by the way.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Yeah, Ray-Bans.
All right,
I love America.
Americans probably think that it's none of their business if Donald Trump is bombing terrorists in Nigeria. They're like, it doesn't bother me. Why do I care? Well, here's why you should care. Because who do you think is paying for it? And if you think that it's just a little bombing and it's not a lot of money, you have to think twice about that. They use Tomahawk missiles. I think one Tomahawk missile is like $2 million. They use anywhere between 12 and 20 Tomahawk missiles. That's $40 million. Then also, they've been talking about this since November, where they say we're going to go guns a-blazing into Nigeria because they're killing Christians if they don't do something about it. So Nigeria said, okay, come on and help us bomb these guys. That's 24 million of American taxpayer dollars that's being used to kill terrorists. And Americans should ask themselves, why do we care if you kill people who kill Christians? Obviously, they're going to say, because one day they could come on our soil. Bullshit. We'll get to that later. We've been planning this since November when Trump said it. And overall, with logistics and anything, it's anywhere from 150 to $300 million of U.S. taxpayer money paid to bomb Nigeria on Christmas Day. Not Nigeria, but they said they're bombing terrorists on Christmas Day, and Trump puts it on Instagram and has a big speech. This is all bluster by Trump to look strong and to project American power over the world. And he thinks Americans will care that he's killing Christian killers in Nigeria, which he's actually not doing. But Americans, I'd have to ask, is it really worth $300 million? That's $0.3 billion. And this thing will go further. He'll start getting deeper into it. This will probably go into the billions, what they're going to spend in Nigeria. Meanwhile, he's going to cut the Department of Education. There's no more Department of Education in America. Food prices are going. Infrastructure is bad. So my question is it really worth it? And if you look at the pattern, bombing boats in Venezuela because they're supposedly bringing in cocaine to America. He's always doing some sort of false flag and some threat to America. Same thing, a war in Iraq years ago that cost trillions of dollars because they have weapons of mass destruction, lies. So the American people need to look what's going on because your country is spending money. And every time Trump bombs a place in Nigeria to kill terrorists or bombs a boat, it costs the American taxpayer money millions because one Tomahawk missile is $2 million. I don't know how much the missiles they were using to shoot down those boats, probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. So what he's doing is that he's not bombing or doing these people to protect America and its interests or to protect other countries. He's doing this for Department of for the industrial complex, war complex to make money. That's all it is. I'm going to quote somebody from way back in the day, Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King said that as long as America keeps spending more and more money on military and on war and weaponization without addressing its social and economic conditions, is going to lose its soul. And when you look at the news, you see we are losing our soul. Gun violence is at a high. People are depressed. People are committing suicide. And let's go back to the violence within the U.S. So all of this is a result of the economic crunch. But yet we have $300 million to give to Nigeria to help them supposedly kill terrorists who are killing Christians, which is a lie. Nigeria has ethnic violence and violence over land. It's not about Christians. Last thing I want to add, he lied. Kunle, you know Nigeria. He said that they bombed, was it Borno State?
Sokoto State.
Yeah, he said that they bombed and killed ISIL. That's in the Northeast. ISIL is not in the Northwest. ISIL doesn't operate in the Northwest. They operate in the Northeast. You get my point? So yeah. He's saying that he was killing people in the part where the terrorism isn't there. No, it's the other way. Yeah, ISIL operates in the Northeast, and in the Northwest, I think it's Boko Haram and them. So he didn't even get his facts right. And there's no pictures of anybody anywhere being bombed. They just show the ship with the... Cool. Does it make sense to show the ship with the missile going, or would it make more sense to show where the missile landed?
I checked that. They have shown pictures of damage from the attack. But they've not shown any pictures of casualties.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to tell you people in the U.S., we're from Nigeria. This is a money-making operation, but America, you are paying for it. What are your thoughts, Kunle?
Yeah. I mean, one of the biggest contradictions and insincere contradictions is Trump says that he's come to save Christians. But Venezuela is 92% Christian. That's not stopped him bombing the hell out of them and killing he's killed more Christian Venezuelan fishermen than number of Muslim terrorists in Nigeria. That's for one. For two, the reason why Trump is able to cause so much chaos is because Congress, in order to sidestep Congress and launch attacks into other countries, he has to say that he's fighting terror. Because if you're fighting terrorism, you don't need Congress in order to get permission to launch an attack anywhere, whether it's within or without outside America. So that's why every time that he attacks someone, he has to create a rhetoric of fighting terrorism. He can't declare a war on that country or take them on in a conventional manner, because then he would need Congress. So that's how he's sidestepping Congress in order to bring to bear what he can. And his wars are transactional. He's trying
it's a business deal.
Yeah, it's a business deal of some sort. I mean, I know that the Nigerian government is going to have to pay to repair the infrastructure and whoever they've displaced as a result of these bombings. It does appear that they killed 10 civilians. That's the only confirmation we have, that they said that about 10 civilians were killed. In respect of actual fighters or jihadist extremists that were killed, we haven't been able to lay facts on whether a single one has been killed. And as you know, Israel has happily killed 1,000 Palestinians in order to chase after one Hamas soldier. And sometimes they'll kill 1,000 people and not get that soldier, because that's how they operate. They use that as an excuse, and then they follow up their agenda. You know, there's 30,000 ISIS soldiers, but they've killed 70,000 civilians, claiming that they were trying to kill Hamas soldiers, sorry, not ISIS. So there's a lot of contradiction, and more often than not, American foreign policy is driven by Israel and Zionism.
Yeah, and so let's go on. So you hear what you're saying. So America has a fund for counter-terrorist acts, like you said. So they have a fund in which they draw from, which American taxpayer dollars are used. And this goes in what you just said. So they have to call it they have to say, oh, we need to help you.
Taxpayer.
Yeah.
And the U.S. reputation.
So that way they can get through it by saying, oh, these people are because that's why they call the drug dealers. It's very unconventional to call a drug trafficker a terrorist. But that's what they need to do in Venezuela. So now they're saying that
call them narco-terrorists in order to have it.
And the Nigerian government is saying that, to be honest with you, they're kicking back because they did a joint operation with the U.S. to do this. They said, no, they didn't strike terrorists. They struck bandits and people who kill Christians and non-Christians. So it's not terrorism. So the Nigerian government is also putting them online. But this is a scam. So just to go to show you, America, we need to wake up. We're a small internet channel. We're not big. But if you're listening to this, you have to keep asking yourself, do you want to keep on buying these stories that your government tells you? It makes you pump your fist in the air and say, oh, let's attack these people. Let's attack these people. They're bringing fentanyl into our country. Then the next day he lets out the leader of Honduras or one of those countries who was charged in America for bringing in drugs. Where the fentanyl is coming from, it's actually coming from Mexico and Brazil. I don't see him bombing them. So you have to stop pumping your fist thinking that all these wars and these bombings are helping America. They say we need to get weapons of mass destruction. No, this is just the government. And just use common sense. We all know the world. Human beings are greedy. All human beings are greedy. They can get away, they will. They just create false flags and false narratives so they can spend money. But when it's time to spend money for kids to go to school in America, there's no money. We're now losing the best American talent in engineering and stuff like that. And IT are moving to China, to Dubai, to the Middle East and everywhere else, because America is not the American government is not spending money on research and infrastructure for those things, and the country's falling apart. So when you hear that we're bombing Nigeria or Nigerian terrorists, you have to ask yourself, whose money is it? And why isn't that money over here to help with problems that are in America? What are your last thoughts, Kunle?
Yeah, my last thoughts is that the American war machine is the only asset that America has left. And in order for it to generate wealth, it needs to use that. There's a guns and butter problem that Germany had that forced it to invade Poland as well, because all their assets was based in military. So they had to spend on military in order to generate income. And that's what Trump is trying to do, because all America has of value now is its weapons. It's its,
and hear what you said. Listen to what you said. So this is for all Americans to hear. Germany just tried to use Russia's money to keep the war in Ukraine going so that German industries can continue making money. Germany did the same thing after World War I when they were impoverished, where they tried to use their war military economy to build their economy, and look what it led to. This is what's going to happen to America. But the only difference is that we're not going to be defeated by outsiders. We're going to defeat ourselves. Gun violence is unbelievable. If you're black in America and you live in an black inner city, your life is worth zero. And there's a genocide going on, black on black violence. Then you have mass gun shootings with white boys and stuff. All of this is tied to economy because it's tied to mental health, in which it's not that Americans are more violent than other people, but because it's such a capitalistic country where you can't even get health care, we have to worry about things that you end up going ballistic.
So that's all